So the annihilation is complete in Sharjah. CSK have gone down to the Mumbai Indians. They've gone down for the third time in Sharjah, and they've effectively, you think now, ended their chances of making the playoffs for the first time in their rich history of the IPL. There are still a few numbers that may suggest otherwise, but for all practical purposes, you could say that this extraordinary run of the Chennai Super Kings of consistently making the playoffs of the Indian Premier League is now over. The better days to come, and we discussed that in the halftime show with Ian Bishop and Deep Das Gupta on Whirlpool presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell. Deep, fair to say that I guess that now CSK just need to put things behind them. As Ian Bishop pointed out earlier on, this looks like a broken team, a team broken in spirit at least.
Yeah, it seems like that. It seems like that. They were, even though they didn't have enough runs on the board, but even with the bowling, it never looked like they've created any chances or whatever. I mean, listen, I think as Bish mentioned before, the spirit is gone as of now. But still, I tell you what, I mean, they still have 3 more games, and these 3 more games is an opportunity for them to find out things for the future.
Yeah, even if they would have nicked a couple of wickets, made something happen in that second innings, Bish, but from catches going down, sloppiness in the field, and just the onslaught from De Kock and Ishan Kishan, it just adds to CSK's woes, I guess.
Yeah, they're a low team. Look, it's hard. There are guys within the franchise who still have a lot to play for individually, but I've been in that situation before with teams where your established players or your older guys not as motivated, that collective spirit isn't there. So it's not surprising to see what happened tonight. But one of the things that we can discuss as well as we go forward is I think the last 7 results in normal time have been by teams chasing. Remember when we were talking about all that, about changing up and teams batting first? Just check the last 7 games that have been won in normal time.
All right, something to consider, certainly to consider. Before we move to our 5-point review, I guess just keeping CSK aside, which is still the main conversation, you think, but Mumbai Indians, after what was a dramatic defeat against Punjab in that double super over, just reinforcing whether it's a low CSK or not, that they are the team to beat in many ways in this year's tournament.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look at those 3 losses that they have against their name, I mean, 2 of them were from super overs. So basically, technically, it's one game that they've lost in normal time or normal course. So obviously, the team to beat, if you just look at the performances of that team individually as well, everyone seemed to be in form, rhythm. The closers, obviously, I mean, you know what, that points table is a true reflection of where these teams stand at this point in time to a great extent.
All right, let's begin our 5-point review, and we'll start with how Mumbai impacted this game early on, Bish. They did blow away CSK's top order with the new ball. That's where most of the damage was done.
Yeah, of course, Trent Bolt was absolutely superb. He's been superb in the power play all season. So when you have a guy like that doing what he does, you have a Jasprit Bumrah at the other end as well, against a team that is kind of low in spirit and with a young guy as opener trying to make his way in this format of the game. It was just too much weighted in favor of the team that now sits at the top of the table.
With a little bit of movement deep, it does look like Trent Bolt at his best is something that we have to see.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, apart from teams chasing, as Bish mentioned. The other thing that we've noticed in the last few games is obviously the movement that the fast bowlers are getting, especially bowling second to a certain extent. That's good to see. That's really good to see. We really haven't seen too much of swing since ever since 2015 World Cup. Not that much, at least. So it's good to see that new Kuka swinging around a bit.
And what about Kieron Pollard attacking with Jasprit Bumrah for a large part of that power play? Deep?
I think that's a great idea. I think that's something that a lot of us have been talking about. If you have a strike bowler who also is very good in the death, it always makes sense to at least make him bowl 1 over, not in the power play, but in the first couple of overs when the batsmen are fresh, they're new, they're not settled down, and you have someone like Bumrah or like Jofra Archer, Bumrah or Rabada coming and bowling the first or the second over. that's like a proper wicket-taking option that you have.
Doesn't Mr. Trick is captain, does he, Bish? Karen Pollard. Slip, gully, attacking bowler, all of it.
I wouldn't say he's faultless or flawless, but he's very good. And his mindset is summed up by this. We've seen it in the Caribbean for a long time when he's captain in T20 cricket. He is one of the more attacking captains around. That same coach that he has in his dugout, Mahela Jayawardene, I remember one CPL game, Jayawardene came into bat at Sabina Park in Jamaica playing franchise cricket, and Pollard put himself in a silly point to Jayawardene. And it wasn't more than 2 deliveries where he snatched the ball in the air from under the chin of Mahela Jayawardene. And that sums up Karen Pollard's philosophy. He is all-out attack, and I think T20 needs that sort of leadership.
As far as Mumbai Indians batting goes, job was done by the bowlers, Bish. But even so, to get there over the line with a 10-wicket win, it sends a statement to the rest of the team, rest of the tournament, doesn't it?
That is how defending champions must play. Ishan Kishan, we go back to seeing him opening the batting in the Under-19 World Cup. He couldn't get a run, but the guy that we're seeing him growing into this innings here tonight, where he just gave himself enough time, a couple of deliveries to start with, is a good principle going forward for him. Something that I admire in batsmen and young players, when they can finish a game, be there at the end. I know a number of young players in this tournament who want to emulate that. That was another building block in Ishan Kishan's career.
And didn't feel Rohit Sharma's absence one bit, Deep.
No, you didn't. Credit to Ishan Kishan. He was absolutely brilliant. And listen, what I really like about Ishan Kishan is no matter what level he's playing, he's looking to dominate the bowlers. And that's exactly the conversation I was having with Ajit watching the game. Last year, Syed Mushtaq Ali, he did not get too many runs. Okay, he maybe got a 25, 30 here and there. But those 20 deliveries he was out there, you could see the difference between him and the rest of the players. There's somebody who wants to dominate and has that ability to dominate as well. And that's what he's shown here as well. He was batting against some quality bowlers. He's starting from Jadeja to Imran Tahir to Sam Curran. These are all international bowlers we're talking about here. And listen, that Indian wicketkeeper slot for white ball cricket is heating up now.
As far as team takeaways go, Deep, Mumbai bouncing back strongly after that super over defeat. They reinforce a claim for the top 2?
Oh yes, absolutely yes. Listen, again, 2 out of those 3 were super overs, where obviously, but as a team, I think they are in form. They've got the momentum. They've got a solid side. So, they've actually ticked most boxes as far as a franchise is concerned so far in this tournament.
They don't miss such a talismanic figure either, which do they? Rohit Sharma, the batsman, or Rohit Sharma, the captain?
Well, yeah, Rohit Sharma, though, will always be a benefit to any team that he comes into. I understand the point that you're making. The one thing, I wonder if, I was saying it to a colleague of mine while we sat here and watched the game. They're going through this season, Mumbai Indians, without the use of an off-spinner taking the ball away from any left-handed dominant lineup that they come into. And that's a great credit to them in that they've got so much experience with the batting, even without Rohit Sharma, so much talent in that batting, and their seam bowling is fantastic. Even the spin bowling quotient, Rahul Chahar, and the steadiness of Kunal Pandya. So it's a good team. They just don't miss an off-spinner.
And finally, as far as what CSK can take away from this game, Bish, they've still got 3 games. Bangalore, Kolkata, Punjab, all teams vying to make the playoff spots. What can they still affect in this tournament?
Sam Curran, a big bonus for them. You've got guys, as I said before, younger guys. Although it's a predominantly aged team, we had a couple of younger guys coming in tonight in addition to Curran, who still have much to play for. Someone like Chahar is someone who would be looking to continue to establish himself in this lineup and in the frame for continued international selection. So I still think there are quite a few guys who have a few things to play for this season, future franchise involvement.
You'd probably like to say, yes, Deep.
Sorry, just to add to that, I think a very, very valid point, because let's not forget there is a big India-Australia series coming up. There are quite a few people out there who are still trying to kind of cement their places or there, but are being challenged. Someone like Jadeja has been challenged by Aksar. You have Deepak Chahar, Shardul Thakur. So yeah, from a personal perspective also, there's a lot to play for.
All right, that's a wrap. Thank you very much. That was easy. Deep Das Gupta, Ian Bishop, not for the Super Kings, unfortunately. It was for the Mumbai Indians. They sent the series gauntlet down to the rest of the tournament. So that should give us a nice early Friday night finish. And obviously, on behalf of everyone on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout powered by Dell, Ian Bishop, very happy birthday in advance. Got plans, Bish? Heading out somewhere? To the corridor?
Yeah, hanging out.
To the edges of the
Room 11 is going to be filled with a lot of noise and jumping and dancing tomorrow night, all by one person.
Best wishes to you, my friend, and I hope to see you again soon on our network. Deep, always a pleasure. Get your thoughts soon as well. Thanks for watching us. Do join us. Build up for the big double header. It's a big weekend for a lot of teams that are still in a pretty good position to make the playoffs, and those that are fighting amongst each other for what could be one, if not two, playoff spots. So do join us then. Until then, it's goodbye.